Now it's time to harvest the pumpkins, which just proves that summer's nearly gone and autumn is well on its way. Now today I will be giving you all a quick little update on what's been happening on the plot and what's still growing, and then I've got some very exciting news to tell you all. Autumn is fast approaching and summer is nearly gone now. It seems to have gone so quickly. The nights are starting to draw in now. I mean, I used to spend the evenings up the allotment until about 10 o'clock, and now I'm lucky if it's light until 7 o'clock because it just gets dark really quickly. And by the time I finish work, by the time I've had my dinner, it's too late to come up here because it's dark and I can't do anything in the dark, which is a shame. But it just means that the weekends will have to be the allotment time now, which doesn't matter too much because obviously with autumn less crops will be growing, there will be less weeds growing, so there should be less to do, hopefully. But right now the allotment is thriving and I'm really pleased with it. There's other plots on this allotment site which have finished all their crops. They've dug over their soil, so it's just a big brown canvas of soil now. But my allotment is full to the brim. I've managed to use near enough every inch of space on the allotment, and there's still so much growing. Now I'll start with the bean bed. There are climbing French beans there. They've been there throughout spring and summer. They're nearly drawing to an end now, so I will have to pull them up soon, but they've done brilliantly. They haven't grown to as high as I would have liked them to have grown, but they've produced a good harvest, which is the main thing, so it's great. Now next door to them are some dwarf French beans, and they are a variety called Purple Queen. I managed to sow them at the beginning of August, and I've managed to get 2 crops from them so far. So I mean in a month really, because it's the middle of September now, they've grown and they've produced a crop, which is so fast, and they're really delicious. One of the things I love about the purple beans is that they are a beautiful dark purple colour, nearly black really. But when you cook them, when you boil them in water, they turn green, which is just amazing. It's so amazing what Mother Nature can do. But they're doing really great, and I can see a lot more cropping from them throughout September and even October. Next door to the dwarf French beans are some kohlrabi seedlings. Now, I sowed them not that long ago. They are about 2 inches high now. And next door to them is some turnip seedlings. They are about the same height, about 2 inches high now, so they're growing really great. But I will talk a bit more about them later because the exciting news sort of has something to do with them. So we'll move on to the climbing munchkin pumpkins that are climbing up my archway. Now by far they are my favourite thing that I've grown this year. I can't stop raving about them. So I won't do it again because I've probably done it in my last video, but they are just great. They are starting to die off now, especially one side of them. Now one side gets the sun a little bit more, which is why I think it still looks a bit more alive than the other side. But I counted 23 pumpkins on there today, and about 15 of them are ready to harvest, so I'll be harvesting them today and taking them inside to store. Overall, I've got 35 munchkin pumpkins from those 4 plants, which I'm just amazed by. They've been really, really good and they're delicious. So I won't go on about them again because I do go on about them a lot, but they are great, so I do recommend growing them. Now the brassica bed, I haven't really touched that. I've eaten one red cabbage, which was really delicious, but I've let everything else just do its job. Now there's a few red cabbages that are ready to harvest now, but I'm leaving them until I need to eat them really. There's flower sprouts. Now I'm just leaving them because obviously these sprouts haven't grown yet. They are there, I can see them just about, but they will just be left until they're ready to harvest, which will be either December or nearly into the new year. Now next door to that is some kale. That's ready to harvest, I think, because the leaves are quite long now. So I might take some of that tonight actually and put it in a casserole, in a sausage casserole. But I haven't touched that yet. But it's ready now, so I might take some home. And the brassica bed is a little bit weedy because I come up here during the day and all the white butterflies are around. I don't want to take the net up and risk the butterflies going in and laying their eggs. So it will either be waking up early or coming up quite late to do that when the white cabbage fly, they're not around. But it needs weeding really desperately. Now next door to them in the same brassica bed are my Mars pumpkins. I've only managed to get 5 pumpkins from that little section there. There were 2 plants there. There were 3 pumpkins on one plant, 2 pumpkins on another plant. So there's not a lot of crop there, but it is, I mean the space is only about 75 centimetres by 3 metres long. So it's more than enough, and I might make some soup with them because they are ready. One of the front plant, that's died back completely and the pumpkins had actually fallen away from their plant, so I let them cure in the sun for about a week, and I'm going to take them home today and store them. Maybe I'll even eat them, but they're great for storage, so that's what's going to happen with them. Now next door to that is the root bed, and there's carrots in there. The carrots, I'm just weeding them and thinning them and just letting them be. There's 4 rows of carrots there. I think I showed you them in the last video. 1 row I've been harvesting from a little bit late because they're very large. The row next to that, they are nearly ready, and then there's 2 rows next to that which I sowed at the same time, and they're very, very small seedlings, so they need thinning out, and they won't be ready until next year possibly. I sowed some carrots when I got my allotment last year, because I got my allotment in July last year, and I managed to sow some carrots in August, and I harvested them in the February this year, and they were really great. So I overwintered them, and they were perfect. They were quite small. They were about 5 inches, but they were delicious, and I mean they were overwintered, so it's great. Now next to them is some more Swiss chard. I have gone a little bit overboard with Swiss chard. There's 4 rows of Swiss chard there, and there's also 3 rows of Swiss chard in my fruit cage, so there's a lot of Swiss chard. I need to think of other recipes to use apart from Swiss chard quiche, just so I can use up all the leaves. But we've been putting them in omelettes as well, and that's really nice, really, really yummy. So I need to find some more recipes for Swiss chard, but I love it anyway, it's delicious. Next door to the 4 rows of Swiss chard in the root bed, well it was the root bed, is 2 rows of leeks. Now yet again I'm leaving them to do their business. I'm weeding them, but I'm just leaving them alone and obviously watering them, but they're thickening up quite nicely now. The fruit cage, now obviously the gooseberries and the blackcurrants, they're not doing anything, but the raspberries, they are coming into life now because they're an autumn variety. They're called Autumn Bliss. Now they're only a year old, but I've gotten about 3 cups full of raspberries so far over the past couple of weeks. So I mean it's great for their first year, but hopefully next year there will be a lot more raspberries, and they're really, really big raspberries. I'm surprised at how big they are, but then homegrown is always best. Now last but not least is the wildlife pond area, and I am happy to say that I saw a frog in the pond yesterday. I managed to quickly grab a picture before it disappeared. I'm not sure where it's gone. I've actually managed to find, while I was weeding around the edges of my allotment 3 frogs. Now they're very little ones, so they're probably baby ones, but I've never seen one in the pond, so I was really happy when I saw one in the pond, but I can't seem to find it now, so it's either hiding or it's just gone again. But hopefully next year there'll be more frogs there, and I'm planning on making a little, either like a little log pile, or I'm going to use a flower pot and I'm going to sort of break it so that it makes a little hole there, so it could be like a little house for the frogs. The flowers around the wildlife pond are a little bit out of hand. The flowers that I actually planted there, they're doing great. There's the dwarf cosmos, there's the scabious, there's the verbena, there's calendula and zinnias. They're doing really well and I really love how they look. But I put a packet of wildflower seeds down there. I'm just not pleased with how it's turned out, because obviously they grow with the weeds. I don't know what's weeds and what's not weeds, and it just looks a mess and I'm not happy with it. So I might, at the end when all the flowers are gone this year, I'm going to dig up all the wildflower seeds, and what I might do is just sow some seeds which I know, like the cosmos, like the scabious, like the verbena, because they look really lovely together. But I'm just not happy with the wildflowers, so I'm not going to do the wildflower seed mix. So I'll be taking all that up later. Now that's the allotment. Oh, actually, I'll quickly tell you about the tomatoes. I think in a previous video I took the tomatoes out. They're all gone. I've left the gherkin plant in there because the gherkin plant is just growing like crazy now. It's suddenly got a burst of energy. I've had 2 gherkins from there already, and I've managed to pickle one, so it'll be interesting to see what that one tastes like. But I just noticed there's 3 quite large gherkins on there now, and there's about 4 which are small, which are growing. So there's going to be a nice little glut of gherkins there, which I'm really happy about, because I've just got 1 plant there. I was a bit worried about how many gherkins it would produce, but it's doing really well, and it's growing up the trellis really lovely. But it's looking a little bit lonely in the trough. But the plans for the trough is to put some dahlias in there. I might just put dahlias, maybe some gladioli, and that will be like a flower trough with a gherkin at the end, because the gherkin was great. So I'll be doing the gherkin again. And that's about it, really. Yeah, that's it. That's the plot. Now that's over with, I will tell you all the exciting news. Now, quite a few of you have been recommending getting chickens for the allotment, and I got in contact with the local council to see what they say about keeping chickens on the allotment, because I actually read the rules and it says that you're allowed to keep chickens or hens and rabbits on your allotment. But I thought I'd get in contact with the local council and see what they said, and they got back, and basically I'm allowed chickens. So I'll be getting some chickens soon. I'm really excited about it. I've got a coop which I got second hand, and it's beautiful. It's a little bit rustic and a little bit shabby chic, but it's beautiful, and I'll be upcycling it into a nice chicken coop. So I'll quickly show you that clip now. So this is a coop that I picked up today. Now, it was a bargain price of £10. And you're probably thinking it looks like it's only worth £10. But I'm hoping that maybe with a little bit of work and a nice lick of paint, that it will be transformed. So it's got an egg box on the back. It's really dirty inside. I'm going to clean it later. Now I'll probably have to put a better hook on there and a little lock as well. I'll probably take these eaves off. And I might even replace the roof, just because it's really gappy and it's not very strong. And also it's been repaired already. So I might replace the roof and get a better lock for the front. and I'm going to put a new floor in it, just because these gaps here, I think all the straw and all the chicken poo will probably just go down there. It'll be really hard to clean out. So I might put a floor in there and cut the wood so that it fits in this space perfectly. So then when it comes to cleaning it, I can just sweep all the mess out and there won't be any gaps for it to go down. There's also a perch for them to roost on. And you can see what I mean by the gappy roof. But apart from that, I quite like it. I quite like its rustic, shabby chic look. And I think it's got potential. So with a little bit of hard work, hopefully it will be the perfect house for my chickens. Now, as you can see, the coop needs a little bit of work, and I've currently taken the egg box off the back because I'm going to put it around the side, just because it'll be easier to get to where I want to put the coop here. I can walk round this side and get the eggs out the side, rather than if it was at the back it would be up against the fence and it would be harder to get to. So taking the egg box off and it will go on the side. Taking the roof off. I've taken the floor up because I'll be putting new floor in and new roof on. And then it will just be a matter of giving it a little lick of a paint in a nice colour, and then it will be done. And then I can move it up here. Now the coop will be going on the bean bed near the back there, so the turnips will have to go, and the kohlrabi will have to go as well. So I don't know whether to let them go a little bit bigger and then transplant them over on my dad's plot. So that's the plan for them, which also means that the dwarf French beans will also have to go. Now the coop won't be ready for a few weeks yet, because I am taking extra care in cleaning it and disinfecting it, in trying to prevent any red mite coming in. And of course I need to measure and build the floor and build the roof and build the egg box to put on the side and paint it, so it won't be ready for a few weeks or even maybe a month. So hopefully the purple beans would have been harvested by then, and then I can rip them up, and then this whole space here will be ready. Now I've measured it out. The coop will be going at the back and it'll be coming up to about here, which gives me this space in front to make a sort of a run for it. Now there's a cage over on my dad's plot which was on a raised beds where we kept strawberries last year. But I'm going to strawberries now, and I've made cages for my beds because they were a different size and because I wanted lids on them, so we made separate cages for them, which means my dad has no more use for that strawberry bed, no more use for the cage on top. So I thought I would have it, and I would use it as a framework to make a run for the chickens. So obviously I'll have to make it a bit higher. What I might do is leave one half of the run flat and with netting on it and on the top, and then the other half I was going to build a sort of pitch roof and put roofing on it, so in the winter or when it's raining there will be shelter for them there, so they won't get wet in the run. It'll have to be a pitch roof, and then it can match the coop, so hopefully the roof of the coop and the roof of the run will blend into one, which is the plan anyway. So obviously there's the run to make as well before I get any chickens. So it'll be a month. It might even be more than a month until I can actually get chickens. But I'm really excited. really excited. I just can't wait. Now the coop I've got is really large, but I'm going to be getting 4 chickens. I ideally would like different breed of chickens, just to make it a little bit different, to make it a bit more fun, and also so I can tell them apart, so I can give them names. Now, you're probably not meant to give chickens names, but I will be giving them names. But that's the plan. Also, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some paving slabs down just where the coop will be going, just because it's really heavy. I don't want it to sink into the ground, and also it will help to prevent any rats or anything living underneath. So there will be slabs underneath the coop, and I will be trying to fox-proof the run by making a mesh weld skirt to go round the whole edge. It will be about 8 or 9 inches deep, so the foxes can't dig and get under the run. Now, I've heard that's quite an effective way of fox-proofing a run. But if anyone has any ideas, then please let me know. I'll be really, really grateful for the help. I've had lots of help and lots of comments regarding the chickens so far, so thank you to everyone for all the help. I'm really, really excited, really excited. But first things first is to get the coop and get the run done, and then I will start thinking about getting some chickens, because obviously I don't want to get them before the coop and run's finished, because I've got nowhere to put them. And that's it. That's the big plan. Now, I've given you a little update and I've talked about the coop. The last things I'm going to do today is just to harvest a few things. I'm going to harvest the munchkin pumpkins and the larger pumpkins, and then I might go home and have a little rest and start work on my coop. So thank you for watching, and I will see you all next time.